All right, we're recording? Yeah, we are. Cool. All right, so we're here. It's the first episode of the C Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm Connor.
And, before we get started with a crazy weekend in wrestling, I kind of wanted to just first sort of introduce ourselves and then, how did we get into wrestling, basically? So I'll go first here because mine is real simple. I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling as a kid. And, a couple years ago, I was just like, you know what? Now's the time to get into it. It just seemed like something like people my age were already into. And it was like, I've missed so much here. And it's so pervasive in the culture already. And it's like, I'm missing so much here. So when you said a couple years ago, like, hey, if you want to get into wrestling, let's get into wrestling. I was like, oh, yeah, I jumped at it. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And, Connor, please take it away.
So I'm very much the opposite. My dad loved wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He watched it growing up. Like my most vivid memories, I remember 5 or 6 starting to watch, and then all the way through when they did the rerun of ECW, and then that's where a lot of people kind of checked out.
Yeah,
some say growing up, some say college important, some just say that was the time,
right.
But again, with WrestleMania coming to the city and knowing that a couple years ago, I wanted to get back into it. I was hoping to go when it was in town. Unfortunately, next time it's in Philly. Definitely going, no matter what. Moving mountains. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, dude. That's cool. Yeah. And really, the goal of our show is sort of to meet both of those types of fans, right? So, me, the new fan, somebody who's just getting into it, somebody like Connor who's kind of lapsed coming back into it, or even somebody who's completely new. We hope to be that cool resource, create a cool resource of information, education, commentary for fans, of all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds. So that's what we're all about. We're really excited about this. Welcome to the C Show. Excellent. Now, getting into a momentous weekend of wrestling, let's start off first with SmackDown on Friday, which opened up with a, not too surprising, but the anti-American sentiment, especially in Canada, is super high, right? And so Tiffany and Trish both came out at the beginning of SmackDown in Toronto Maple Leafs shirts. Sweaters, excuse me,
Hell yeah.
Yes, very cool. Both customized, both personalized for Trishy and Tiffy. But then when Chelsea Green came out in that American Canada half and half, and then also Piper Niven as
the Mountie,
Dudley Do Right, it was so good, so good. I loved that. And then you got here in the rundown a schmaz finish for setting up the PPV. You want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I'm going to throw out terms like that and pretend perfect. Don't be checking me on, well, this means, I'm just doing my best here, y'all. So that's usually what people talk about when it's not really the end of an actual match, right? Not a pinfall, a submission, right? It's usually some kind of just cluster, multiple people in the ring, usually some kind of run-in. It's designed to end to kind of set something up, right? There's no way Tiffy's going to get pinned right before there. Let's Nia come out and beat up the Canadian hero and all.
Right.
It just sets everything up.
Yeah, no, exactly. Cool. Yeah, and we're going to use those terms, and at every point, again, I want to be the person to be like, hey, what does that mean exactly? As we get into the next match on SmackDown for Friday night, we've got Andrade, I'm saying that right, versus Fatu. First of the tournament for the U.S. #1 contenders. So they did a triple threat match. So 3 matches of 2 up into a 3-man match.
Yeah, exactly. There were 3 just singles matches to qualify for a triple threat at the end of the night, right? Kind of throws in that idea of multiple matches, Iron Man style. They brought that up plenty, but I was just excited to see Jacob Fatu wrestle. I love seeing Jacob Fatu wrestle.
Yeah.
He is so good. But before it even started, it was interesting because Solo had the spot in the tournament.
Yeah.
And again, that this verbiage that they both use back and forth of I want you to run the play. So again, we see this Solo starting to turn to Jacob and be like, I love you, Jacob, right? The whole flip of the I love you, Solo. So I assume that's got to explode eventually.
Yeah.
But until then, I'm just glad to keep seeing Jacob keep wrestle.
Awesome.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to belabor any of these matches. I'm just going to talk about some cool things I like throughout
Please.
them. The double moonsault.
Yeah.
When he did the moonsault off the top, landed and hit another one. Someone else hits it later as well. Great move. I love that. I'm sorry, Andrade did that. But again, Fatu with his spring up the ropes moonsault just a touch better. Battle of the moonsaults, winner Jacob Fatu.
Absolutely. And then after, well, who won that match? Andrade versus Fatu.
So Fatu won that. He'll be in the triple threat later.
Gotcha. Okay, and we'll get to that in a moment here. The tag team brawl came on after that. There was sort of a spot at the beginning, some trash talking, and then you have it here in our document. Just like every tag team came in and just went nuts.
So yeah, they said it was a tag team match, right? And they had them literally on the run out. They got jumped on the way to the ring, but with the Street Profits coming out and got jumped. And then as soon as the first team jumped in, right, there's all this different beef about who jumped who and who lied. It's like literally they just brought every tag team out.
Yeah.
Pretty deadly. Of course, the Motor City Machine Guns, my favorite.
That was so awesome. They just came out running. Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah, you knew they were ready. They were ready to cook. But yeah, everyone came out, hit different moves. Everyone kind of went through all their different things. Like I'm hoping they'll do some kind of like, I don't know, scramble or like eliminator maybe. Like again, like they for once have so many good tag teams. Usually that is something that is hard to come by. So use them all. I'm glad they did tonight.
And they've got like each different tag team has a different motif. They've got a different thing going on. They're unique in a different way, which is really cool to see that. Moving on here. Did you have anything else about the tag team match?
No, I'm good.
All right, moving on. We had a huge promo for the PLE, the PPV, on Saturday night, which was Elimination Chamber. We had Drew McIntyre come out and was previewing the PLE on Saturday night, the Elimination Chamber, and paraphrase the Harvey Dent line from The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, talking about The Rock, talking about, becoming the villain. Once being the hero, now is the villain. Really interestingly, like he's been beefing with Punk the past couple of weeks, sits down on the table, pipe bomb style. Damian Priest even calls that out at one point. I thought that was really funny.
For anyone that doesn't know, like pipe bomb style is CM Punk, also someone in this match, and again they've been feuding for months on months now. He has this very famous promo, the pipe bomb promo, where it's supposed to be this real to life like shoot real thing. Like obviously it was all part of it, but again the main line in that was wasn't this in your hands this is a microphone, in my hands this is a pipe bomb, and he sits crisscross applesauce style like in the middle of the stage. And again, this was 15 whatever years ago.
Yeah, that's sick. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, cool, thanks for explaining that. Of course, Damian Priest comes out, as I had already mentioned, calls out all of McIntyre's whining and moaning, and then we had Seth Rollins come out. What did you think of Seth's outfit?
That's just who Seth is. Like I'm just along for the ride. Again, it will never beat when he had the vest that was the same color as his shirt, and it looked like he took off a shirt to show the same shirt.
Okay, we'll have to look that up. We'll
double back to that.
We'll double back to that. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I have thoughts on Seth's outfit from Saturday as well, that we'll talk about here in a moment. CM Punk comes out. You had almost everybody come out for the Elimination Chamber. Punk gets everyone, but Rollins says, "You will never main event WrestleMania, not over my dead body."
Foreshadowing. Who's to say?
Who is to say? Shocker. About near the end of this promo here, we heard John Cena's music. We heard the beginning of The Time Is Now. We heard the horns. Whole stadium gets up. Everybody stands up. John Cena. It's incredible. Who is it? It's Logan Paul, actually. I was so disappointed.
Can I jump here with my favorite part of this whole thing? Is so Logan Paul comes out and he says his bit to start, blah, 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 blah. like making fun of John Cena, part-time wrestler.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, look who's down there for me to talk about it. And he's like, where's CM Punk?
Mm-hmm.
Where's CM Punk? And when CM Punk came in, he's at the side of the ring.
Yeah.
So I am not sure if Logan actually could not find CM Punk, 'cause he did, or if that was part of
He
the
wasn't
bit.
in his eye line.
But because literally CM Punk just goes, I'm over here, idiot. And he's like, nah, let's go on to Drew McIntyre, where he talks about next or Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that was so good. And that sort of just, again, leads up into, those 5 guys. It was McIntyre, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and then Logan Paul. John Cena, who was not at that promo, but again, was a part of the Elimination Chamber. We'll get into that shortly here. All right, moving on. We had, in the second match of the Triple Threat tournament on Friday night, we had LA Knight versus Santos Escobar. Pumping your fist over there.
You got it. You were great. I wasn't sure if you were going to check. Did I say that right again? I was trying to let you know you cook. But also, this match was great.
3 years of high school Spanish, so.
So did I, but let's not talk about that.
Yeah, no lo sé.
LA Knight's elbow drops. Well, whether it's just when he runs the rope and does it off the top rope again, the finger licking the LA, like God, I was upset when he lost the United States title, but I also really like this Shinsuke Nakamura. We'll talk more about him later, so I am a little conflicted. Other than that, there was like a super Rana off the top rope that was super good, and then LA Knight hit his finisher in like a different way. Normally he sets him up, he's behind him, he stacks him and does his BFT, his blunt force trauma. He did it out of the air, like a la Randy Orton.
Yeah.
So like, if the BFT out of nowhere becomes a thing, I'm gonna get super excited. So I hope he just hits it in creative ways and just gets weird with it. Once you've kind of broken that seal, like why not?
Yeah, get real weird with it. After LA Knight won that match, we had another preview for Saturday night's PLE, the Elimination Chamber. We had the Sami Zayn Town Hall. Sami, of course, from Montreal, Canadian, gets that big pop in, it was the Scotiabank Arena on Friday night. It was the Rogers Center, excuse me.
Yeah, that was the other one was the PLE site.
Yep.
We'll go to in a minute.
Exactly. And so, huge pop in the stadium for Sami there. We've been building up to this Sami Zayn, Kevin Owen unsanctioned match at WrestleMania, and this sort of leading into it. And then, all of a sudden we hear somebody on the screen, and it's Kevin Owens.
Right, and he's calling. He's like, Sammy. And he's like, oh, look where I am. And he's at the pay-per-view arena. I know it didn't. I just like to think he was a day early and didn't realize. And he's just like, I'm already here. But no, like and again, talks about like everything they've been through, going back to, he sided with the bloodline and then worked with the bloodline. Like they tried to end my career, so I'm going to end your career. Most shocking thing of it all, KO. Saying, after what I'm going to do to you.
Yeah.
I am not going to help your wife and kids
wild
make a living because this is your fault.
Yeah. Wild. And I feel like the whole thing leading up to it too, and we'll talk more about it when we get to the Elimination Chamber itself, recapping that. But just like the storyline is, Kevin and Sami have been friends. They started out together. They fought together as Kevin Steen and El Generico, and then leading up to this, you've seen sort of this friendship sour and sort of turn like this. It's really fascinating, and we're going to talk more about it as we get to the Elimination Chamber and the results of that match. Now to the final preliminary match, qualifying match for the Triple Threat tournament. We've got Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Strowman.
Really love this match. It was a way for them to get Carmelo to win because he hasn't won in so long.
Oh, really?
They've kind of been burying him. He like went back and forth with Andrade in a best of 7, and then just kind of getting stepped on recently.
Gotcha.
But again, so the biggest thing, Braun Strowman hit the train where he revs up and runs around the ring. Always love it. Always love it.
Love a big guy running around.
Right. Solo and the Bloodline come out to try and interfere. He's like, oh, I'll take care of Braun Strowman. And so they try to, and Braun Strowman just says no. He's like, I'm bigger than you. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And at one point, a chair goes into the ring, and Carmelo Hayes does what they call the Eddie Guerrero spot.
Gotcha.
Eddie Guerrero his whole thing was lie, cheat, steal. So there were plenty of different weird match finishes with him. A classic one was he would put a chair in the ring, he'd slam it down on the ring so it sounds like he got hit, throw it to the other guy, pass out like you got hit. And it's like, oh, the ref goes, I didn't see it, but he
Yes.
must have hit him.
And
Disqualification.
Chair hits famously banned now in the WWE due to all the various injuries WWE superstars and athletes have sustained over the years. So to see that, I thought that was really funny because it plays into something that we'll talk about later. But like that was the first time somebody did something. It's dealing, like getting away with getting around the rules. So you love to see it. Because next speaking of love to see it, we had a 6-woman tag team match. Raquel Rodriguez.
Yep.
Yes. Liv Morgan and Roxanne versus Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Bailey.
So my favorite is they can't even start the match without them going back to this overarching storyline of a former tag team partner who was hurt, and there's a video showing 2 of the competitors, Naomi. I'm sorry, not Naomi. Liv and Raquel walking away from like the scene of the crime.
Yep.
They swear they didn't do it. Blah blah blah.
Attacking Jade Cargill.
I'm sorry, yes, attacking Jade Cargill, who was the women's tag team champions with Bianca. After Jade got hurt, Naomi stepped in to help be an interim champion, defended the titles on a handful before they actually recently just lost them, I believe, last Monday to Liv and Raquel.
Yeah.
So they're
They
immediately
become 3-time champions.
Yes. So, they're immediately, talking about that. In the beginning, there's a point where all of them just start swinging, and then they, slowly roll out of the ring. But
Love
again,
that.
I always just love a stand and just slug it out.
There was just like so much going on in every like corner of the frame on your screen as you were watching. It was fabulous.
Yeah, so Bailey does like this hat trick of dives, and when she does the one to Liv Morgan, I thought she killed. I thought she slammed the back of Liv Morgan's head off the announce table.
yeah.
Like it looked bad. Like I rewound it and like it was close.
Oh, geez.
Like JD McDonough got her whatever it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, hitting off the corner of the table. Like I thought she killed her. I was very surprised at the ending. So Roxanne Perez wins with her finish, the Pop Rocks, over Bailey. And I was just surprised that anyone that was going to be in the pay-per-view, the PLE, that they let them take a fall. Like usually they try and build them up. But like they already have their own story and have gone back and forth. Like I believe in NXT. So I'm sure that's probably going to be a Mania push there.
Gotcha. Cool. And we got more stuff about Mania later on in the program. And then we had a Charlotte Flair. You put this in the rundown, a short, dumb promo.
Like it was just annoying. Like again, like they did the Royal Rumble and they've been around and doing and again it was literally just like it's like, oh, like let me say something about Canada, let me say how Tiffy's gonna get beat and then I'm gonna win the title, woo, and like that was it. Like it was just such a waste of time. Like I would have rather heard Tiffy say something else.
Yeah, and that would have probably played better in Toronto too. But oh well. And
That's why it's called Heat.
That's why it's called Heat. And then after that, we had another promo from Shinsuke Nakamura.
So yeah, Shinsuke like recently came back, like relatively recently. And he's like this new version of himself. Like he wears like the samurai mask, like it's like a darker kind of persona and take on him, kind of like his heel turn. I love this version of him.
Gotcha.
Like it's so cool, especially his promos. Over the last like I would say probably like 6 or 8 months, WWE has been letting more wrestlers do promos like in their native tongue, like whether it's him doing it, like Io's done some.
Yeah, Io switching between Japanese and English.
Like that's awesome. Like that was something you never used to see. Like they used to like dub over fake lines for that. Like,
oh god.
But no, I love this. And again, it was all about talking about dogs will sell for scraps. He's like, I don't care who wins this tournament. So I guess somehow he knew about the tournament ahead of time to record this silly little but I digress.
Right.
He was like, basically don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Gotcha.
So we'll get to in just a minute who wins, but I'll be glad to see him go at it.
Yeah, so rolling right into it, we have the number 1 contender triple threat match: Fatu versus LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes.
God, I would follow a camera in front of Jacob Fatu for miles. He just kept talking into it, like those walkout promos.
Yeah.
Like literally, like I would back up and hold the kid. I just got to listen to it. I feel like I love that every time.
Like the major members of the bloodline right now, Fatu, Jey Uso, like they always have incredible walking outs. Like I mean, Jey Uso, like past couple of months over Raw, like they've been playing his song twice, running around the stadium, yeeting all over the place. I have thoughts about that, and we'll talk about that when we get the section on Monday's show. But yeah, and then next up here we have never headbutt a Samoan, which I feel like is really good advice in and out of the squared circle. But explain.
Yeah, so like there's this whole like I don't know, trope, whatever you want to call it, that like all the different Samoan wrestlers over the years like just have just like incredibly thick skulls. Like you will not hurt them with a headbutt. Like if you headbutt them, you lose. If they headbutt you, you extra lose.
Gotcha.
If you hit them in the head with a chair, they might just look at you funny. Like it's just like a whole bit. Like there's no point in wasting your time doing that. So like Carmelo Hayes first does a headbutt,
Yeah.
loses. And then what was even better was Hayes does this springboard DDT. And Jacob Fatu stands right up, like just right up. And I'm in my mind, I was like, he didn't learn his lesson. I was like, he didn't learn. I don't know what else to say. So yeah, Jacob kicked out of that, and they kept going. Hayes hit a beautiful first 48 to both of them. His finisher, it's like the double knees to the face, but he split one knee per face. Very cool. Knight hits a crazy springboard cross body, and then. Did you see the pin that Jacob Fatu broke up by doing a swanton bomb from the top rope?
It was insane.
Like literally at 2, he just lands back on top of them both. And then Jacob Fatu hits his moonsault on Carmelo Hayes. LA Knight actually pulls him out of the ring and then jumps in and steals the pin.
Yeah. Just the night of getting away with other people's work, basically.
Absolutely.
You've got the Eddie Guerrero, and then you've got LA Knight stealing this pin. I chuckled at myself. You know, I chuckled softly to myself. I thought that was very funny. It doesn't always repeat itself, but it rhymes. You know what I mean? All right, and then after an ad break, we saw Cody and CM Punk backstage. Punk. Talking to Cody, providing him advice, you know, talking about their time together in various stages of the wrestling business. Punk says a younger version of him would take The Rock's offer to give up his soul, but tells him to take the offer and do what with it, Connor?
He's going to shine up real nice.
Shine it up real nice and do what with it?
Then he's going to turn it sideways. And he's going to stick it right up, I believe it was The Rock's part-time Hollywood ass.
Yes.
And if you don't know, there's a lot of beef between CM Punk and The Rock from back in the day about when Rock was coming in to take a WrestleMania spot, when he was doing one of his return tours, as I put it, and bump Punk. So they had a really good feud before. So I'm hoping that he breaks more into this.
And I think it's really interesting. And I mean, like, you can do a whole other conversation, a whole other podcast, a whole other hour about The Rock and his acting career and the various steps and missteps that he's taken, but especially over the past couple of years where, the Black Adam fiasco and all of that, and sort of the rumors around him in Hollywood being tough to work with. It's really interesting that this is also coming up again in the WWE, especially with some of the other wrestlers who, again, are seeing The Rock as somebody who has, somebody who is coming in and out, taking spots when it's not necessarily theirs. But I love that section. I love that segment. And then here at the end, you've got Cody Cole interview. Cody comes out. He gets bribed with a brand new Ford Raptor truck. It's a big red truck. And it's got American Nightmare graphics all over it. Like, I think the American Nightmare, like, the story and the gimmick is really fun and really interesting, right? Dusty being the American Dream. But the logo, it's not great. I'm not a big fan.
It's something. Once they got it tattooed on them, it was over.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard it, he was doing an interview, I believe it was with Burt Kreischer, talking about when he got that tattoo.
And it was a little bigger than he meant it to be.
But he was not going to say a damn thing about it.
Yeah.
And speaking from personal experience, I'm someone with a tattoo that I'm like, maybe I would have liked that a little more to the left, but I wasn't saying a word.
Well, there's a point where it's just like, it's done. Like it's over. Like I think that's part of the reason why I don't have any tattoos. Is it's like it's on, it's permanent. If you want it off, it's like 13 grand to do the lasers, and it's like already had a needle on my skin, but nonetheless, the Rock shows up on the video board, and where is he exactly?
I have to assume he is probably just by his home. I assume he has his own personal airplane and all like that. He says, "I'm getting ready to get on the private jet." I don't know. I'm surprised he didn't lie to us and be like, "I'm filming the next blockbuster."
Right.
But to my knowledge, I don't remember that.
The next Red. He's making Red 2.
Oh my god. But one of the things he says is, "I've been talking to your daddy a lot," like talking about how he was talking to his dad a lot. His dad who has passed away, saying he was praying to him, right? Talking to him. He's like, "I know you've been talking to him too." And I thought it was very funny. He's like, "We texted, we called, we FaceTime one time." He specified that they did FaceTime. I feel like he was proving to someone that Cody Rhodes would answer his FaceTime. And then the wildest thing happens. He's like, actually, now let me go back. We do get The Rock singing. The Rock loves to sing whenever he can, singing about coffee and cream. But he shows this weight belt. He's like, "I'm getting great lifts in this weight belt all week." And it says Cody's Soul.
Yes.
Charlie, what was on the bottom of that weight belt?
Oh, it is a date. I believe it is... I watched this last night, but I didn't remember the date. But it is a date in 2015. It is the date that Dusty Rhodes passed away, which you have to think that Cody's in on it because hey, you have to agree to being in this, right? Like you are the face of the company right now. But it's also kind of like, wow, okay, we're putting a lot out there. Whoa! Like there's the whole thing with Dusty again, like Dusty as a figure in wrestling history. Who goes in and out, or who's like one of the main figures in like classic wrestling, and Cody coming to the prominence there, the like just rubbing it in like the day of your dad's death, woo, and like I'm Cody's got some difficult things with his family, I'm sure, who doesn't, but yeah, geez, it's just putting a lot out there, and like honestly, to a point, you have to commend them. Like Cody especially, and for being able to be like, okay, yeah, you can like say you've been talking to my dad and put his death date on a leather weight belt, like a ceremonial and decorative weight belt.
Well, remember before WrestleMania last year when when he beat him bloody in front of his mom?
Oh yeah,
the whole Mama Rhodes thing.
Yes,
Mama Rhodes. So this is not new. Like Cody has ultimate commitment to the bit. Like if you watch some of his old heel stuff from he has commitment to the bit, to say the very least.
When he was Stardust too, especially, and Stardust talking about great. Cody is on an Alaskan archipelago. I'm never going to be able to say that right. But yeah, no, you just really have to commend him. And again, it leads up into Elimination Chamber on Saturday, which we'll get to here in a minute. And we're back. So now we're moving on here to Saturday night, March 1st, the Elimination Chamber in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So started out the PLE with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. And that really started off with a complete bang for me because we had the return of Jade Cargill, who literally... after I think almost everybody had been introduced, she sprints out.
So it was after everyone had been introduced. The last one to be introduced was Naomi.
Yes.
And right before, because they make a big deal of closing the door and keeping people in and out, even though that never really seems to be the case. She hauls down to the ring, and everyone's like, all right, she's going to take her revenge on Liv, the only two out of the pods right now.
Yeah.
Where Liv and Naomi, it's like, all right, Liv and Raquel did it. It's that time. She does take a little jab step toward Liv, trying
to fake her out,
and then crushes Naomi.
Yeah, that was wild. It was absolutely wild.
right, beats the absolute hell out of her. Bianca's going crazy in her chamber, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
Some
kind of
people
like trying to like plead with Jade to talk about it first before this continues. This beatdown continues.
Yeah, so and it's so bad they just go, all right, Naomi can't go anymore, so
Well,
she's just eliminated.
Naomi gets slammed in the door of the elimination cage or the elimination
that was
chamber
sick.
cage. Yeah, that was
was
brutal. That was pretty awesome. But Naomi at that point is disqualified. Jade is excuse me, is escorted out of the chamber, off of the playing surface, if you will. And then honestly, for me, like I don't have much else to say. The women are always fantastic. I think the women's matches are always really fun because they're great wrestlers. They're very technical. There's a lot of really cool movement going on. But for me, the match felt short because Naomi got kicked out so fast. She got eliminated so fast that it went from 6-5 very quickly. And then from there, it was just like, okay, all right, bing, bang, boom. Women got eliminated, and the next thing you knew, you had Bianca winning.
Yeah, Bianca won. Her and Liv Morgan were the last two going back and forth. Was super cool. Liv Morgan posted on her socials how bruised up she was the next day, and you can see the direct line from where she got whipped by Bianca's ponytail. I'm glad Bianca won. Like, all this Jade stuff was weird, and now she just kind of gets to. Now she's just back in this main title push against. We'll see who when we talk about Monday Night Raw. Could be Mommy. Could be Io Sky.
Could be. And then after that, we had the highlight tag team match of the night: Hometown Tiffy Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. And I always I'm always messed up between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus.
Yeah, Trish Stratus is the Canadian one.
I thought they were both Canadian.
I don't believe, because wasn't Stratton on the U.S. Olympic team?
Perhaps.
I thought she was from like Minnesota.
Oh yeah, she's from Minnesota. Well, it's basically the same accent.
Oh God, if I could spell, I'd be so deadly.
Yeah, you could just Google it.
I'm trying to. I just can't spell. Oh, not Stratton Doors. What are Stratton Doors? Why is it Home Depot? I'm looking for birthday.
Why don't you just Google
hometown? Her? I'm trying. God damn.
Be in the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Oh, she's from Prior Lake. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Okay, so Trish is from Toronto, and it's funny because you can always tell who's Canadian, who's not. Americans always pronounce the Toronto. They always pronounce the second T, right? They always enunciate through Toronto, but most Canadians just say, especially Torontonians, just say Toronto, right? And they just Turonno. So you can always tell who's a Canadian that way. But we did have that tag team match, the hometown Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Cliff, what are your thoughts on the match?
I thought it was good. I thought Trish looked really good. People weren't really sure how much she was really going to get into it. I thought she looked good. She hit this crazy tornado DDT,
yes,
which was super awesome, right? And then hit a spine buster. More people have been doing the spine buster. Big fan of the spine buster. That's kind of where you like pick someone up in front baby style and just slam them on their back.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite moves. Loved when Batista especially did it. That was my guy. But I love that.
If we're talking about part-time Hollywood people that we want to come back, Batista, please, if you're listening.
And then there was some different good back and forth, right? And it ended how you would expect, right? Trish gets her stuff in, right? And then Stratton comes in, hits the prettiest moonsault ever, win the match. Standing ovation all around. Happy-go-lucky Canada.
You gotta love it. The Canadians not having a great time right now, but let them have it. And then we go into the other Canadian on Canadian brutal match: Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Now, something I noted here, and I said this when we were watching on Saturday night, but they kept saying, "Oh, it's unsanctioned. It's unsanctioned. It's unsanctioned." It's okay, but it's in the middle of a WWE PLE. And then there's also the ref there who's like, he's like, on top of him. So
Well, no.
break it down for me, Connor.
They specifically point out how the ref is not in ref shirt.
Right.
He is not wearing the stripes.
He's not wearing the stripes or the gray logo polo.
Exactly. There
Yeah.
is so he's
Just
not official.
Black shirt,
They even
black pants.
said with the ring announcement, WWE like absolves himself of all liability or whatever,
Yes.
which is also awesome. So again,
Do you think they signed waivers beforehand?
I assume that's already in their contract somewhere.
Go ahead. You were going to say something?
So the lead up to this, right? Again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, like Kevin Owens has been on this revenge tour against the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn, right? Again, a great friend of his. They grew up wrestling all together, had a whole bunch of matches, Ring of Honor, other places. And Sami, right, was part of this kind of last run of the OTC with Roman Reigns, with War Games and all. Kevin sees it as a direct betrayal. He betrayed him, and now he says he wants to hurt him.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I heard him. He certainly did. It should be stated that part of the reason why this match is unsanctioned is because Sami is medically unclearable. And so technically he shouldn't be wrestling at all, right? And so you saw this several times where Kevin was targeting specific parts of Sami's body to inflict more pain. And we saw that at other points in the evening and on Monday as well. But yeah, no, I think you saw the hockey stick come out. That was very funny because it's like very local. Oh yeah,
The barbed wire chair.
Barbed wire chair was the next thing that I was going to get into. We talked about the chair being illegal, being banned, right? So it wasn't surprising when it came out. But when it came out wrapped in barbed wire, I was like, oh boy, this is new. So I was I was pretty blown away by that. And then was it Sami stacking tables? I think it was Sami stacking tables. That was hilarious. Yeah, because it was just like, well, you're obviously doing something. You're planning something here. What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, no, there were so many great spots in that match, and again, I feel like I'm glad WWE took away the headshots with chairs. You still get good shots to the back. It's all classic stuff. You ain't got to give them all that stuff.
Yes, CTE.
But if I can just jump right to my favorite part, because when Kevin Owens went to powerbomb Sami onto the ring apron. Again, that was something from their other feuds before. It's like a spot they always do, but the first time, right, Sami has that last little bit of fight, wiggles on out. You get that hope, like maybe, and then Kevin just loads him up again and buries him.
Buried him, absolutely. So Kevin ends up winning the match, and then out of nowhere, we hear Randy Orton's music.
I hear voices. I don't know. Can I do that on a podcast? Can I sing it or no?
You can sing it. Yeah. That's under parody.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. They understand. They talk to me.
So Randy comes out. He's the apex predator of the WWE. Comes out, messes around with Kevin, throws him around, teaches him a lesson, and then pops up on the turnbuckle and does the hands. Was absolutely awesome. I actually forgot about Randy Orton showing up until I was watching the recap. They were showing the recaps on Monday Night Raw, and Randy showing up in the whole end of the match. The RKO in the middle of the ring. Perfect.
Yeah, no. Did you peep that as Randy was coming down the ramp, KO was crying?
A little bit. Yeah.
So it looked like he was crying, and people are like, what's that mean? Is he embarrassed? All it's like, I think he's like, great, now I got to do it to Randy too. Like he did to Randy the first time. So I assume that's going to be their little nod to that's what's coming up WrestleMania for Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
And that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. Randy Orton rocks. So my question here, so Kevin wins the match, but at the end of the day, what did Kevin really win, right? You had all of the lead up to the match where Kevin is like filming himself outside of Sami's family home, like taking like candid video of his family. Of course, it's all kayfabe, but again, like there's all like these lines being drawn, and again, they grew up together, they worked together, they kind of came to the WWE together, and now you're seeing this kind of friendship turn sour. So Kevin was absolutely insane, right? What happens next for Kevin?
it's just the next person on the path. He says that he's going to take out everyone that helped the bloodline, and then the bloodline. So, like I said, next jump is probably to Randy, right? Unless they do maybe something where he starts going after Solo or something,
Yeah.
right? But that's just where I think, because again, the reason that Randy Orton is returning is because Kevin hit him with a illegal package pile driver.
Right.
Same thing he did to Sami Zayn that got him hurt before this match.
And RKO Randy is coming off of medical clearance, right? Because of the Kevin Owen illegal move.
Yes, he just became medically cleared due to the
Heavy quotes around that. Heavy quotes.
Yes, he's
around
back
that.
from his vacation.
Yeah, a medical vacation. Yeah, and I think it just like exacerbates Sammy's medical concerns as well. It was a great match, great action. But just from a storytelling perspective, it's a little shocking, to be honest. So, all right, moving into the men's elimination chamber. This was a very entertaining match. You have some of the best wrestlers in wrestling, some of the best the male performers in wrestling, right? Cena, Damian Priest, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, cough, cough, whatever. I like Logan as a heel, to be honest, and I think that's what he's really good at. Because you already hate him. It's already built in. You dislike him.
That's not fair, though. Like, that's not fair. Like, you should have to make us hate you from what you do in
the ring.
It shouldn't be, that YouTube thing. It shouldn't be, all those other things.
All the various things.
I would like it to be the reason people boo Dom, even if they don't mean it.
Yeah, because again, Dom is just it's all in the game, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. And Dom has been doing it for 20 years too. And again, we can talk more about Dom later, but yeah. One of my favorite things about the beginning of and like the intros and walk-ups was Seth Rollins just a weekend of just fashion. What are you doing, baby? He shows up looking like Starscream with the wings behind the back and the big like pit viper shades, just straight up looking like a Decepticon out here. I know, right? But for the match itself, the match I felt like was pretty good, pretty entertaining.
Oh no, I really liked the match. I thought it was good. I thought it was good using all the different wrestlers, like how they use them. Everyone got their little turns and all.
Yeah.
And I like they just keep doing different things with the pop, which I like. Like last year, Kevin Owens wrote on it in his Sharpie. Logan Paul did the same things. He's a copycat, not a good heel. And then there was one point where Seth and Drew were fighting outside CM Punk's pod, and they kept ramming them off. And they actually broke a light in there.
Yeah.
And you can see him trying to fix the light through the pay-per-view, and they're chanting, "Fix the light, fix the light, fix the light." But so no, I thought they did a lot of really good stuff there. Chef's kiss to Drew McIntyre being eliminated first.
Yeah.
Absolute chef kiss on a roll up, again, something where he's just gonna bitch and complain like Damian Priest said he was gonna do. And then guess what? There's gonna be their angle.
The match led up to CM Punk and John Cena facing off, and something I think was something that was interesting, at least for me, was Punk, who has been spending the lead up to Elimination Chamber talking about how Cena's a part-timer. He forced himself, or he just told the world that he was going to be in Elimination Chamber, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's a point where Punk goes, he sort of he sort of bends the knee to Cena in a way and allows him to win Elimination Chamber. And you saw at one point there, where Cena is putting CM Punk into a headlock, and Seth Rollins is outside the chamber still screaming, "Die, die, die!"
That
was
yeah.
wild.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so and it was good, man. They've wrestled each other so many times. Like, they literally had spots that they're going back and forth, countering each other's moves. Huge rivalry back in the day. Yeah, and it was Cena put in the STFU on him. Punk, I believe that's what it was. Punk went to the ropes, and as he was in between the ropes, Seth Rollins, who had already been eliminated, hits the stomp on him, right?
Yeah.
John Cena immediately just grabs him up, puts him in it. And then did Punk tap or did he pass out? I forget.
I think
Did they do the pass out spot?
he did the pass out spot,
Okay.
which they did again on last night. That's another thing though. Monday night. But yeah. Leading into what was the premiere moment of the PLE, and potentially, you know, a talking point here, an all-time WWE moment. We have Cody Rhodes and The Rock, the final boss. Cody now has to provide his answer to The Rock, the final boss, on if he will give up his soul. And if you're listening to the podcast, you've probably already seen all the clips and everything. Cody says, "Go fuck yourself." And then as Cody and John Cena are embracing in the ring, The Rock looks at John Cena and slices across his throat, and we have the Cena heel turn.
So many years in the making, so many different times. There's like they could do it, right? He's done like shoot interviews where he talks about like we were ready, I had a new song, I had new gear, but then they like basically WWE chickened out at the last moment.
Yeah. Because for a long time, Cena was the face, and especially for people who didn't watch wrestling, John Cena was like the prototypical wrestler. Like, and like especially as he moved into Hollywood, and taking on various comedic roles, like very physical as an actor. So it was like very reminiscent that, oh yeah, this guy was a wrestler.
Yeah, and he was a pretty good college football player.
Really?
I want to say it was D2 or D3 in Massachusetts, but apparently
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure he played center. Like
There's a wild rabbit hole on his grandfather too on Wikipedia. Yeah, his grandpa has a blue name on Wikipedia. So that's another time and another.
yeah, we'll double back to that. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
side project.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think honestly, like as we get into talking about more about Monday, but like just the shock and awe of what happened during that moment at the end of the match where Cena turns. You've got Travis Scott also came out with The Rock.
Might have hurt Cody Rhodes.
Might have hurt Cody Rhodes. But then you've got The Rock or John Cena and Travis Scott both beating up on Cody Rhodes independently. You've got John choking him out with his tie. What happened between Travis Scott and Cody Rhodes?
So at one point, like after John Cena's hit him with like the Rolex and all that, and he's already bleeding, Travis Scott walks up and just kind of like smacks Cody on the side of the head. And I don't remember who it was. I think it was the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Said that they think Travis hurt him.
Oh,
that
jeez.
he might have given him a busted eardrum and a black eye.
I mean, a black eye is nothing for a wrestler, but
Yeah.
like busted eardrum is
That's a bastard.
that is no fun. No fun. Yeah, no, not fun at all. But yeah, no, that happening at the end of the PLE like that, just incredible stuff. I mean, as soon as I went home, like I was watching here at your house, and then I went home and just like immediately on social media, it was just Cena heel turn, Cena heel turn, Cena heel turn. Part of that is my algorithm is like showing me wrestling stuff, but like I also feel like it was like they talk about it on. We'll talk more about it when we talk about Monday, but just like it was already everywhere. So
Yeah, the collection of videos they show on Monday during Raw of all the kids crying is crazy.
pretty good, honestly.
I get it, but like I should be crying. Like when I was watching, that's when he was like just coming up. He started the Doctor of Thugonomics. He was doing all the rap stuff, and like I checked out, and when
Yeah.
I checked back in, he was only like 2 years out of carrying the company. Like during a period where they were having a hard time. Like
Yeah.
he was the guy.
Yeah. No, again, the face of the company drew a lot of money for the company, drew a lot of revenue for the company. So, yeah, that was Elimination Chamber. How would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate that PLE?
I thought it was pretty good. I would have liked to see a little more time in the women's chamber. Like you said, I feel like it was off. Like again, starting with 5, starting with 6.
Yeah.
I still thought it was pretty good overall. Like I'll probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. Like again, some of the other stuff we've had to watch this year, like especially like the Saturday night's main events.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely on the plus side for sure. But I love an Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
This and Money in the Bank are probably my favorite 2 pay-per-views the whole year.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we do have another Saturday night main event coming up in April, I believe.
Gross.
But yeah, we'll talk about that more when we get to it. now in the third section of our show here. We're going to go over Monday night's Raw. It is Tuesday, March 4th. So we're going over the March 3rd episode of Raw. And honestly, like, a lot of this was, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but a lot of recapping Elimination Chamber, the PLE, everything that went down. They showed, I think, like 4 or 5 different recaps of the Cena heel turn. But yeah, so they opened up with it, and like, I mean, if you watch horror movie trailers, or if you're versed in film editing, like, it plays like a horror trailer. They've got the string plucks, they've got like the cuts to black, the silence, that like the string crescendo upwards, played exactly like a horror movie trailer. And again, the Cena heel turn being the key part of that, and talking about all of the various social media hits, all the coverage of it, all the various news hits. My favorite thing was seeing all of the Sports Illustrated headlines. If you don't know what's been going on with Sports Illustrated, they laid off most of their staff. It's an AI operation now, so it's a shame what's going on at Sports Illustrated, but like, funny to see how many times it's referenced there. We had first the opening. CM Punk arrives from the truck to the stage immediately. Well, first of all, did you have anything to say about the recap for Elimination Chamber?
Get used to it. You're going to see it a handful more times.
Getting back to the opening, CM Punk busts out of a black Jeep Wagoneer and runs straight to the ring. I mean, the man's straight. I mean, he's wearing Hoka's. Just books it to the ring. Like, honestly, 10 out of 10 for me. Just like immediately, like, bolt up, like, oh, what's happening here? Oh, cool. Immediately calling The Rock a bald fraud.
Well, even before that, again, the classic thing that I love that wrestlers do, they're like, I'm upset, I'm going to do this promo from the announce table.
Yes, yeah.
And then, of course, he's doing his whole, like, I don't care, I'll get us canceled.
Right.
And we have this live document that we kind of type in as we're watching it, and immediately I type in, get them canceled. Will he hang dong? Question mark. And then he breaks another mortal sin of wrestling, looking dead eye into the camera, as, like you said, he calls The Rock a bald fraud.
Right. Which is I was looking at Reddit. I think it was Squared Circle, and it's very clear to some people on the internet. It went over my head. As a bald fraud, as somebody who supports Manchester City, that is a reference to the bald frauds of the Premier League: Eric Ten Hag, Arne Slot, Pep Guardiola. Who's the
what?
Yeah, so bald managers in the Premier League. Pep Guardiola specifically being a bald fraud. Because of the way that he plays, the way that he set up Manchester City to play football. Specifically, it's more of like a European ticky-tacky pass between everybody. Not very English. Not appreciated by some older people who watch football in the UK. But again, I thought that was really funny. Calling The Rock a bald fraud, calling out Cena for his bald spot as well. Listen, I'm not going to say much. I am the mayor of Glass House City on that one. So, yeah.
So sorry, I got a couple more things. We're not done yet.
Go ahead.
So CM Punk calls out the People's Championship, which The Rock got from Muhammad Ali's widow. That's like what that is. Like, if you go back, like when he gets like that People's Championship they had like around like WrestleMania last year, like that's from Muhammad Ali's widow. So that's gonna come back. Mark that down. He does the Make-A-Wish. CM Punk does the Make-A-Wish shout out.
Right. And if you're not familiar, John Cena holds the record for the most Make-A-Wishes completed ever. Shout out to him for that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. But essentially along the lines of like you're gonna wish I never met you, like one of those classics. So again, just good. He calls out Seth Rollins, says, Becky, come get your man.
Becky Lynch.
Again,
yes.
This is, and I don't even know if it's true for Charlie, but this is a big Becky Lynch podcast. We are here for the man. We are so here for the man. And then, he's talking about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins' music hits. Immediately just starts running to the ramp. Again, he's hauling, like you said. A great fit to haul. Great. And then...
much more relaxed fit, other than the Oven Mitt and Starscream from Friday and Saturday, respectively.
And then they start throwing hands on the ramp, the classic. Security
Yes.
can't keep them separated.
Yes.
But, like, they did that for probably, like, 3 or 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
About after a minute, they both looked crazy blown up. Like,
Yeah.
meaning they both looked, like, jog tired. They were just like, I guess we'll do another run at each other. All right.
Yeah.
Like, they looked beat.
I loved it. Again, like opening a show like that is just so energetic, and it's just like a great way to like, because like you had that horror movie trailer of the recap of Elimination Chamber, and then just boom, Punk comes out. He's mad. They're throwing hands. And again, just like it gets dragged out, they go in the ring, they're out of the ring. It's like every security guard, every referee is out for a minute.
Oh, I was watching it with my wife, and there's a point where CM Punk pushes down this one woman referee, and we're like, is that in bad taste? But then he starts laying out every referee, and
Yeah.
we're like, so is that
That's equity, actually.
equity? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's equity. These hands are for everybody. Oh man. All right, and then we cut to the Judgment Day clubhouse.
They're always playing 2K. I'm so jealous. Like, they're always just in the background is always 2K.
2K25, right? The WWE game.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the WWE game.
Because there's multiple 2Ks.
No, you're right. Like, in my world, that's the only one. But
Right. Yes, in the world of this podcast, that's the only 2K game.
And it's the same finger pointing. Oh, you lost this match. You lost the chamber. You got embarrassed by this guy, right? And the classic, Dom still saying we need more members. Finn saying we'll get it done ourselves. And just, it's coming to a boiling point. They're either going to find a new enemy to be mad at, or they're going to explode.
Cool. Fun. Exciting. All right, and then we had a... You having a giggle?
Just sorry, this next match, yeah, I'm already thinking about some of the stuff. I'm like, guys, so wild.
Yeah, no, I loved Gunther versus Otis, which is the next matchup here. Not sure exactly what's going on. This is like a warm up for Gunther as we get closer to WrestleMania. He defends his title against Jey Uso.
It's like part tune up, and the other week Gunther had a match with Otis's stablemate Tozawa.
Yes, that was awesome.
And again, he kind of tried to take some liberties on Tozawa, and then Otis, jumped in to help, and it's like, all right, I'll go against you then. And even as Gunther's coming down the ramp, he's got the mic, he's ready to cut a promo here. Again, just talking about, if you don't know, Gunther used to be pretty hefty himself when he was wrestling over in Europe. He was pretty hefty, but again, got in great shape. Like, he looks awesome now. Yeah. Not that he looked bad before.
Yeah, you see the before pictures of Gunther, and you're like, oh wow, that's the same guy.
Damian Priest too.
Really?
Have you ever seen the ones of Damian Priest?
I have not.
No, he looks awesome. And all these classic, you just don't have discipline or that, and then just caps it off.
Very German.
Just caps it off with he's like, and I have this championship belt around my waist. You can't even find a belt that fits. Just what great heat. How do you get people mad? Just be like, this guy can't find a belt. And then he comes into the ring, and he's still on the mic.
Yeah.
And then he just jumps Otis. He does this whole thing, my sacred ring, all this. Jumps Otis crazy style.
I know Gunther is Austrian. Yeah, I said he was German earlier.
Don't at me.
Yeah, don't at me. Don't at me. Yeah, no, I loved how physical. Last week with Tozawa, there's the height difference between him and Gunther. Gunther's at least over 6 feet. Tozawa's a smaller guy. And then this week it was the weight difference, right? Because again, Gunther is pretty ripped. He's well defined muscularly. Otis is a big boy, right? Otis is. My mom has a plush that she brings out around Christmas, and it's a snowman, and it says it's got embroidered. It says, "I'm in shape. Round's a shape, isn't it?" So Otis is in shape geometrically, right?
God.
But no, I thought it was an awesome match. For a moment, I thought straight up Otis was gonna win it. He had a couple of moments there where it was like, oh shoot, he's over on Gunther there, and then Jey Uso comes out.
Well, hold on, let me jump you a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So what's awesome is they're doing this thing throughout the match where it's like, can Gunther hit the powerbomb on him, right? It's either 1 or 2 attempts where he can, right? The end of the match is that he hits him with this powerbomb. Now, you see Otis post off him and help, whatever. I don't care. He still lifted that humongous man up and slammed. And then, so I literally wrote down in our rundown, like, holy power bomb, he's probably going to win and stomp him out.
Yeah.
And then instead of stomping him out, he immediately puts him in the sleeper.
Oh, yeah.
And so I literally wrote, oh, nope, lol, sleeper. So Tozawa comes in,
Right.
Otis's stablemate from Alpha Academy or Alpha Babes, as they're kind of cooking up now. He jumps in, Gunther beats his ass and power bombs him on top of Otis. And then again, as Gunther's beating their ass, that's when we get Jay.
Yeet.
So he comes down, right, chases Gunther out of the ring, and then Jay gets jumped by A-Town Down Under,
Right.
because he had made some comments about them last week on Raw during a passing interview, and then in a Shining Term events, Jay buried those two
Yes.
clowns, and was standing tall at the end until Gunther comes back.
Right,
Gunther
that's
had
it.
already escaped to the ramp, right? We're like, oh, he's done. Jay's going to do it. Gunther comes in, puts him in a sleeper, right? And says Charlie's favorite line of the whole night, is my understanding.
Yeah. McAfee said, "quote Gunther ruined a good yeet sesh. As the youth say, that gives me the ick. Whenever Pat McAfee talks about yeeting or yeet sesh, just shut up, Patrick. Shut up.
Yeah, I believe this is where they used the pass out spot as well. I believe.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
believe it was
that's
just
where
the classic. That's when he let go and he seemed like he was unconscious. They then show the same Ia and Rhea promo from either last week or 2 weeks ago, like
Right.
shot for shot. I was watching it with my wife and I'm like, this is the same promo. She's like, this is the exact same thing. I'm like, all right, I'm glad I'm not going crazy.
I didn't recognize it.
And then AJ Styles comes in. AJ
Yes.
Styles recently making a comeback. What happened to him is he was actually injured, came back for I believe it was just one match, re-injured, out again for an
Wow.
extended period. And again, he's made it very clear he's going to retire by 50, so his clock is ticking.
Yes.
And he says he's not even surprised by what John Cena did.
Yeah.
He's not surprised whatsoever.
Yeah, no, he talks about it a little bit more, like he's always been the face as well, like it was going to happen eventually sort of deal. So,
Yeah, and then Karrion Kross comes in, right? And Karrion Kross is like, well, why not sell out, right?
Right.
Like why not? And there's been this thing going on where whenever Karrion Kross is with anybody, like bad stuff happens. Like New Day, formerly of New Day Rocks, now New Day Sucks.
New Day Sucks.
With them, right? There's a series of people that kind of link up with him and then turn heel, bad things happen to them, so on and so forth. And so yeah, AJ talks about that, and then talks about Logan Paul
Yes.
talking reckless, right? Different things like that, and challenged him. So next week they're in Madison Square Garden, right? I don't know if there can ever be a show in MSG again without a steel cage.
Yes.
That's some very, very famous time spent in cages in MSG.
well, there is going to be a steel cage match next week.
That's why I don't know if they can do a show again without it.
Right.
Like, I feel like it's almost a staple. There's
Gotcha.
quite a few legendary stories that we can tap into other times about different cage matches at MSG.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to get into the legend of those soon. So yeah, next week, Logan versus AJ Styles at MSG. After that AJ Styles interview, we had Lyra Valkyria and Ivy Niles, for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, so this has kind of been bubbling, right? Chad Gable, we'll talk about a little bit here, leader of American Made. He left on a mission and said, when I come back, Ivy Niles should have the Intercontinental title,
Yes.
and that the Creed should have the tag team titles. So Niles has been jumping Lyra, right, making her life real difficult. So they're finally kind of coming head to head here, and I think Ivy Niles is really damn good. I think she's really good. Like Lyra's good too. There's kind of different styles. Like there's at one point where I believe Lyra goes for a DDT, and Niles literally like stops, picks her up, and goes kind of stall suplex style, which was awesome. But what I thought was dumb is that they spend almost the whole match working the one leg of Lyra, and the whole thing is, oh, she can't pick her up for the finisher, she can't pick her up for Nightwing, and then she just does. like I would have liked to have been like, well, why can she do it now when she couldn't do it the other two times?
What was the reason? that she couldn't do it.
Oh, so just like earlier in the match, like Ivy was just like targeting her leg, right,
Yeah.
putting her in those twists. I think she even did like a dragon corkscrew from the top or something.
They said later, I'm now remembering because I blacked it out. But she like Lyra twisted her knee, and it looked like she twisted her patella or something.
Oh yeah,
And-
Pat McAfee's like, I think that was the patella.
And I've had a similar injury, and I saw her like.
Oh, me
Sort
too.
of, yeah, no, it's not fun, isn't it?
Dude,
No, not fun.
Absolutely not.
And you could see her kind of stumbling around, and it was like, oh gosh, I hope she's gonna be able to get through the rest of this. Like, I hope it's gonna be able to play out the way that they want it to play out. But
Yeah, so I was just hoping that like they would have gotten a little more creative instead of they hit it anyway to be like, because they had other times where Lyra had her rolled up and it's like she might steal it, this and that, and just like never really came. I thought they could have done a little better. What do I know?
what do we know? Yeah, and then Ivy ended up winning that match, right?
No, so Lyra won that match, hitting her finisher, even though she was like all hurt.
Correct. Yes, and Lyra keeps her Intercontinental Championship belt. Then we cut back to backstage where we have another face-off between CM Punk and Seth Rollins in the back. Basically, again, you had the GM of Raw come out and say, "All right, fine then. This is over. You guys are done fighting. What you're gonna do next week is at MSG. You're gonna fight in the steel cage." I don't know how anybody could not be excited about that. That's gonna be awesome. They've been beefing the past couple of months. They've been beefing. They beefed during Elimination Chamber. They beefing at the beginning of the show on Monday night. So for them to go in the steel cage against each other, I feel like this has also just been bubbling up over the past couple of years as well, too.
Yeah, and I'm definitely a dummy and said that was the AJ Styles Logan Paul match in the cage earlier. It's not. It's this one. But don't you worry. We're back on track. But no, that's going to be good again. They've had all kinds of back and forths again. Rollins playing the you left, I held the company and all.
Yep.
Again, that's going to be a great one. And I think that a little more will add to the legend of the MSG steel cage matches. Definitely more than a goddamn Logan Paul match.
Exactly. And then we cut back to the ring. We have another town hall from Ludwig Kaiser. He's saying he will teach Penta fear.
Yeah, Penta's whole thing is Zero Muerto, zero fear. So, obviously that's some low-hanging fruit for Ludwig.
And then Penta just comes out.
Dude,
right?
Again, it's really not my aura,
The best
right?
aura.
Like, how do you not just put a title on him already? Like we'll talk about Braun Breaker later, but dude, how does Penta not have gold yet? He comes out, they're selling crazy masks, everyone's doing this, doing the fingers, doing everything. Like, you got to put a title on him right now.
When you can get the audience to play into that, like when LA Knight, Seth Rollins, when people are into it. Jey Uso, how can I forget about Jey Uso, right? The Yeet, right? The crowd participation, the more that you can get people into that, I feel like it just plays out so much better. It makes you so much easier to love, especially a guy like Penta, who's just, like, I've seen interviews with him, the Chris Van Vliet interview, I've seen bits and pieces, just seems like a really genuine, nice guy. His family was on a couple weeks ago on Raw, and they just seem like lovely people.
Did you see how he's had a bicep injury for I want to say it's 3 or 6 years.
Oh my god!
But he's just I haven't gotten it fixed, and I have to stop wrestling. Essentially, he's just I've just figured out how to train around it. It's what a guys being dudes,
Guys
being dudes.
So
yeah, he comes to the ring. Him and Ludwig, throw some hands, and of course, if Penta's showing up, Penta's hitting the dive. Penta's hitting the dive if he's here.
Oh yeah. And that ended with just kind of fizzling out, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure after the dive they got separated. Ludwig ran away, I believe, and that's just. And then they're like, all right, we'll come back to this because they were part of some triple threat matches and some other things in these previous weeks.
Gotcha. All right. Leading into, we have a pre-recorded segment here for Chad Gable and American Made Chad on his vacation, not in the minivan, in an undisclosed location.
So for anyone that needs to know, the whole thing why he's gone on this vacation, whatever you want to call it, is he keeps losing to lucha wrestlers. So he says he's going to go somewhere to learn how to defeat lucha libres. So that is what he is currently searching for, because as it begins, he's just kind of walking around showing people a piece of paper like a crazy person.
Yeah, he's like in front of like a Spanish Latin market, a Hispanic market, I guess is the right term to use. But yeah, no, that was very funny. He's just like walking around. He's like, "Do you know this guy? Do you know this guy?" Just like white guy talking to Hispanic people. He meets a older man in an alleyway. Classic WWE style. Like, as much as they're being progressive, we were talking about earlier. Of course they just have like the wise old Asian man gimmick, just classic WWE style. The wise old man shakes Chad down for about $500.
So yeah, Chad takes out a lot of money and hands him a bill, and he just like gives him the hand like that did.
A little more, please.
And I'm like, Chad's gonna empty this whole clip. I know it. I know it for sure. And then he just gets this white box, and I'm the idiot at my TV screaming, "What's in the box?
What's in the box?" I think the thing is, Chad, like, don't show the whole wad. Just be like, "Oh, I have 100 on me."
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, he hasn't been through it. And again, if he just comes out with a mask next week and he's like Lucha Chad Gable, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm gonna be so pissed.
Yeah, no, I think that's just probably what it is. Basically, he's gonna come out in like a red, white, and blue Lucha mask. That's probably what it's gonna be.
That's what I'm worried about.
Hate to say it, buddy. All right, and then speaking of American made, we have War Raiders versus the Creed Brothers in another tag team match. It was Ivar's birthday on Monday night, so happy
birthday, Ivar.
Happy birthday, Ivar. And Ivar really had a big night for the big boy. That like double handstand flip that he did, wild.
Dude, Ivar's always been able to move. Like I've loved Ivar. Like back when he was still like Viking Ivar, like he was just a great like heel. You could have someone wrestle and get over because he'll do crazy stuff and you'll still beat him. And he's awesome. I love him. I'm so glad they have the tag team titles.
Yeah, and he also took another nasty bump off the top rope onto the floor.
God. Yeah, when he was kind of sitting on the top turnbuckle and he got like drop kicked off and he like crumbled. It was so weird. Another one where I was like, oh my God.
Two of my favorite pieces of commentary from the night were Cheeks to Chest and then Pat McAfee making an Exciting Whites reference. The Exciting Whites again are Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship of the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I thought you meant in WWE, and I was like, I'm not going to answer the Creed brothers. Like, they're in this match. Like, what do you mean? Because I was literally about to jump in as an Eagles fan. I'm familiar. And then we got our wires crossed instead. That was great for both of us.
Well, I hope our audience enjoys that at least. And then at the end there, you got Ivar just crushing a Creed brother with the crossbody.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he was laying against the apron on the side of the ring and just absolutely crushes him, man. Like, just, oh my, like, you see him snap back, like, and Ivar is not a small guy.
No. You could, like, my note was that you could hear the Netflix dong in his head. Oh.
Yeah, and then, Ivar goes in the ring, they hit the War Machine, and they win and they retain.
Yeah. Awesome. We cut to another pre-tape featuring the Latino World Order.
Ray's back, baby.
Rey Mysterio is back for a tag team match against New Day.
Sucks.
And with Dragon. So, and I thought like last night's show rocked, but they're just teasing everything for like, oh yeah, we're just gonna do a bunch of crazy stuff next week at Madison Square Garden, which is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, they always try and pop off for Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Right. Him and Dragon Lee, I believe. And again, it's a tornado tag, so they're all in the ring at the same time, and there's no DQ. So expect some funky stuff. Gotcha. Hopefully, Ray will get a little creative here and see what's good.
Because I saw there was like they rotated some items around the title of the event. So there was like the steel chair and the ladder and the table and everything. So I think there might be some items in that that we don't usually see. All right. I think somebody jumped a queue missing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you put that in the document, but somebody definitely jumped a queue, and we just immediately went into Finn Balor yelling at Braun. Yeah,
Yeah, it seemed that Braun like was already like doing a promo, like kind of like up in the crowd, and then like Finn's just already yelling, saying like you're only champion because the Judgment Day's allowed it, um, and so Braun, not taking nicely to anything anyone's ever said to him,
No.
goes down to the ring. Judgment Day tries to do the classic numbers game, so Dom jumps out. He hits him with this crazy belly to belly, right? He pops off on Carlito too, I believe, and then eventually he gets in the ring fighting with Finn, and then Dom saves Finn from the spear.
Yeah.
So they're kind of running up the ramp, and I'm like, damn, I really want to see him get got. And then,
Poor Carlito.
and Braun looks into the camera, gives like the 2 fingers to the temple, and like snap towards the camera, and takes off and kills Carlito with the spear.
Yeah.
Just collateral damage, Carlito.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and straight onto the concrete too. That oofta. And then we cut to another recap of the Elimination Chamber finale. Again, the Cena heel turn. Again, just playing it up. There's the part where they do the desaturation, right? So they pull all the color out of the image, right? So they're desaturating the image. I love that. You're basically just spelling out to the audience like, hey, this is bad. You should pay attention. And then, something else was, I don't know if we talked about it earlier, but when The Rock pulled out the weight belt and was using it to whip Cody Rhodes, good gosh, that was intense. And
Yeah,
insane.
big flashbacks to lead up to WrestleMania last year.
And then Jey Uso got interviewed after the Alpha Academy encounter.
So hold on real quick, because I cannot pass up how, again, like
Yeah.
they met in the back and it's like, oh, you had our back, we have your back. And Jey Uso turns out and goes, I got you, big dog. So I need an Otis, Jey Uso, big dog team up
Big
immediately.
Dog. Oh, yeah. Big Dog's got to eat. Yeah, so we've got the Jay interview. Jay calls Otis Big Daddy. They'll have each other's back. Then Jay gets real emotional. Talks about fearing no evil, and he's going to crash out at WrestleMania. And he reminds us 4 letters, 1 word.
Yeet. And people always try and say that he's just some yeet merchant and that he can't cut a like, dude, he can cut a promo. Like, if you're trying to tell me he has to rely on people saying yeet, most of the time he ignores it anyway. Like, again, and he does a great job of setting it up, so the times he does, it's important. Like, I will not have any Jey Uso slander in this house.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that leads into the final match of the evening. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, our mommy, for the women's championship, right? It's the straight up women's championship. Bianca Belair, who's facing the winner of this match at WrestleMania, scouting on the sidelines of the ring, checking out her competition. One of my favorite things about Rhea's entrance, and one of the things that's like most impressive from a production standpoint, a television production standpoint, is just like the way how they nail camera movements each week. And they nailed that rack zoom last night, so that just like that quick zoom when Rhea slams her fist on the ground, just so impressive.
When she stomps, big
Yeah, when she stomps, just like, geez. Like, the people at WWE, just the people behind the scenes, they're so incredible. That's honestly one of my favorite parts about it. And then Michael Cole reminds us that you can do anything if you put your mind really to it. And Michael Cole, we're going to see if that applies to a couple of things here.
So there was a lot of time they were kind of going back and forth, and it almost looked like, maybe they didn't have great footing, or kind of where they were just like weren't fully catching each other. But again, there were many times where Rhea was just holding Io by her legs and just like slams her into the ring twice, and then you put this on the rundown too, hitting that suplex on the outside onto the floor,
straight up onto the concrete. That was so insane. Io kicking Rhea right in the face.
So yeah, they literally traded missile drop kicks.
Yeah,
and they both hit a crazy one during the match. It was awesome. And again, the best thing that Io Sky does. Hold on, you got something first?
No.
The best thing Io Sky does is hitting a move, doing the kip up, the flip, and pointing at her head. Now, like this, Io Sky has always been number 1 in this household. Like we have always loved Io. Even the last title run, even with all the Bailey stuff, I was still an Io person. So that's always awesome.
I think something that was really awesome about this match, kind of harking back to the Gunther Tozawa match from a couple weeks ago, was again like the physical dominance that Rhea has over Io Sky, but like how Io uses her body and her speed and ability to get around that and do those types of things to Rhea, incredible.
Yeah, and basically this whole match was like Rhea chasing the Riptide, right? Just trying to get in, thinking, hit it once, you're probably good. At one point, Io hits this awesome DDT counter, and like people don't talk enough about how good Rhea is, like taking moves. Like again, like does a great job to make it look like she actually got planted, and then does like the flip over the top. Like she's just an awesome performer all around. Like people are like, oh, never looped. Like no, great performer. Like I love everything that she does. And then Io goes to hit this sunset flip on the outside, and I would have loved for it to have been in one motion, just dumping Rhea. But I get it. They paused. Rhea was still on there, but she still slammed her into the barricade.
There was one moment where Rhea had Io up by her feet, and like it's like where Io's got her face on the mat, right, and she's just like kind of pushing herself up. And there was a point where I could see Rhea like nod to the cameraman and be like, "Do you have the shot?" And then they cut to it, and it was just a shot of like from the floor of the ring up at Rhea holding Io like that. Yeah, no, incredible stuff. And then near the end of the match, Rhea gets distracted by Bianca.
I was very confused by this because if you remember, like just a week or two ago on Raw, actually no, it had to be longer than that. Before Elimination Chamber, Io Sky lost her qualifying match because Rhea came down and hit Liv Morgan.
Exactly,
and it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So
the what caused this match?
Oh yes, because since she didn't qualify, she's like, hey. Rhea was like, you can get a shot at my title.
Yes.
So literally directly leads this. You're 100% right. And so they're kind of chirping back and forth. There's a spot where they're both out and they're playing the 10 count.
Yeah.
And Rhea gets back in and Bianca is yelling at Io like, hey, you got this. Like, come on. Io gets back in, beats the count. And then Rhea's mad. Like, why are you cheering for her?
Yes.
Are you effing scared of me? Like all this stuff. And
that was literally the moment I'm watching it live and I'm like,
you knew what was coming.
Rhea, finish.
You knew what was coming.
Just get it done.
So Rhea does shove her first, but like they shove back and forth, and I'm like, I thought they were gonna be like DQ is the same thing from 2 weeks ago, and then it's gonna be all right. They're gonna still work Io Sky into this, whatever. But it's not.
Yeah.
Rhea ends up back in the ring, right? And at the end of the day, well, actually, first, so Rhea takes her for a top rope Riptide avalanche style, and it becomes this super Rana, which was awesome. And then again, the Io Sky's moonsault, like again, I know we talked about a lot of moonsaults today.
Yeah.
One of the cleanest moonsaults.
Cleanest moonsault ever.
Cleanest moonsault ever.
Cleanest moonsault ever.
And then wins it, right?
Yeah.
You have a title change on TV, quote unquote, on Netflix. But again, that's that's rare, especially a world championship.
Yep.
And again, the
so
streak
close to WrestleMania too.
And the streak continues that Rhea has never beaten Io in a singles competition ever.
And the story continues. All right, yeah, that was an awesome match all around. I was just blown away by it, by Io's physicality, by Rhea's physical dominance, and then at the end, you're just like sitting there and you're like, Rhea, just finish it, like you can do this, and then, boom, changes. An incredible weekend for wrestling, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in our final segment here coming up. All right, and we're back here in our final segment, kind of wrapping up the weekend, our final thoughts, and then setting up for WrestleMania, just the 4 matches that we've got. So, again, what are your thoughts, Connor, on the weekend at large?
Man, I thought it was a great weekend and a great Monday. I feel like they kind of really are setting themselves up going forward.
Yep.
And again, there's a lot of interesting things still left. There's still a lot of balls in the air, which, sometimes at this point in the year can be worrying.
Yes.
But it seems like that they have a decent direction where they're going kind of all the way through the card, right? It's not just kind of like how last year it felt so much was The Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody, like it. I feel like there's like more things I'm actually interested here, and with the addition of the women's mid card titles, like right, those are. I feel like those have to get defended, right? That'll be more matches, so I'm very excited for this road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting. You said they're setting a lot of things up, like, and I think. When you think about a PLE, a PPV, that big Saturday night event, those are obviously supposed to be landmark events, and Saturday definitely was a landmark event. in the way that is definitely, I think we talked about it earlier in the show, but like it will be a landmark moment for the WWE, for the story, for John Cena and his career at large, right? But then again, I think like Friday night and Monday night both were all setting up for stuff. Friday night setting up for Saturday night, Monday night setting up for next Monday, right? Where we're gonna have all of this crazy stuff at MSG on Raw. So I think really something really to be looking forward to this weekend when we're watching Raw. So we wanted to close out the show tonight or today. We're recording at night. Setting up WrestleMania, so talking about 4 of the matches that are going to be occurring. The first one there is Cody versus Cena.
I'm interested just because they love using the word main eventing WrestleMania, like everyone does, just as a whole.
Yeah.
And again, that's not really important about this at all, but just something to keep an eye on, because I feel like John Cena swore he'd main event, right? The winners of the Royal Rumble are all supposed to main event. There are going to be 2 main events on the 2 nights, but like this is interesting, right? Again, we're finally seeing the Cena heel turn, right? People are wondering if we're going to get the Cody heel turn, but no, like Cody's going to get to keep being the guy. Yeah, he's going to get to be the face, the guy to kind of fight the power, and again, he gets to play off that great dynamic he's had with The Rock this past year, and keep playing with that, and again to take on someone else in John Cena, right? Again, with all this in the lens of, is he going to win his 17th world title and break the record, break the tie with Ric Flair,
right?
So, some people talking about Cody will never lose. Some people saying, how can John lose, right? It's going to be something. There's going to be a lot more shenanigans on the way with The Rock. Maybe Travis Scott coming back.
Yes.
Putting it here first. Long term, they're going Travis Scott versus Bad Bunny.
And we'll talk more about that later.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, for sure. And then we've got the women's event, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair.
Interested for that too, right? Because especially when Charlotte came back again, she was out for injury for a while, came back at the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And people were like, oh,
kind of stunned at the Royal Rumble too.
Did, absolutely. And because people thought it would be pretty, it's like, oh, she's gonna go after Rhea. They have a history, they've gone back and forth. But for her to pick Tiffy was interesting, and I really hope it's more of a passing of the torch moment.
Gotcha.
On to Tiffy. I think, like, I do not want any Flair to have anything, personally.
Yeah.
So again, I hope it's more of a passing of the torch to Tiffy. Like, she's been an awesome baby face for them. Like, please, she's been just getting over and over. Like, there's a reason they have her, they gave her the title.
Yeah.
Tiffy time is now.
Tiffy time. It is Tiffy time. That's for sure. Then we have the Ring General, Gunther and Jey Uso.
So yeah, I think that's going to be super interesting, because this whole setup over the next couple of weeks, right? Gunther saying, I'm going to put you through these weeks of hell. Jay saying, walk through the valley of shadows, I fear no evil, right? He's kind of ready for it, right? And it's kind of interesting because Jey Uso has gone through a lot of different things in his career, and it's like, so is he ready for what Gunther can do?
Yeah.
Right? Like, Gunther's a weird dude. He's a messed up dude.
Gunther's an interesting dude, and like their styles are diametrically opposed in that Gunther shows up and he's just like, I'm here to work, I'm here to kick your ass. And Jay is way more also like the showy, the fun side of wrestling as well.
He's the entertainment and sports entertainment.
Truly.
So no, I think it's going to be really good. Like, I think they can have a really good match. Like, I think Gunther have a good match with anyone, but I think Jay's a good wrestler too. I know people crap on the bloodline. It's like, oh, they have the same like 6 moves: spear, splash, super kick, blah blah blah. But like I think Jay's only getting better and better. Like, especially on the mic. His promos have been absolutely killer. And so I'm interested to see this build. Gunther might start reaching out, picking off some of the other bloodline that's closer to him. Like, he's going to really start digging in here soon. So that's going to be super cool.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. And then the final one that we have on our list here, not sure how they're going to do the scheduling, but we've got just decided Io Sky versus Bianca Belair.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I could not believe that they had Rhea lose the title, especially just on a regular weekly show.
Yeah.
But again, I love Io Sky. Io's always been awesome. She's held the title great before. Great tag team champion. And again, like, that was just a great match. Like, that just shows you both of them can hoop. Like, both of them are just really good. And Bianca's good too. So I'm glad to see her kind of jumping back in this main event scene. I'm interested because there's going to be more with this Jade Cargill bit.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
People are still questioning her involvement in it. And, I'd be hard-pressed to think that Rhea won't be wheeling back around. Like, Rhea's going to be in something. Right? There's no way Rhea isn't on WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
So it's like, is this going to backdoor into a triple? Kind of like I thought maybe that's what they were setting up. I thought there'd be a disqualification at the end of their match, and that would set up the triple. No, but I'm interested, man. Again, Bianca's really good.
Yep.
Io Sky's the best. So that's going to be exciting no matter how they cut it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll be here next week, same time, same place, to go through it all. Again, this is the C Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm Connor.
You can follow us on Instagram and on Blue Sky at C Show Pod. That's C as in Charlie or Connor. Show Pod, Pod. You can follow me on Blue Sky at charlesfstewart.com and on Instagram at charlesfstew.
You can follow me on Blue Sky. It's BSDOJ at Blue Sky. Right, name's just Cliff.
All right. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week.